your comparisons to Carlos González. What do you make of those comparisons?
I like it. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not one of those guys that are gonna be like, oh no, who's that? Or like, what do you mean? Like, no, that's my favorite player. You got to call things out when you see him. Do I mimic my stance after him? A little bit. I can't lie. It works. It works. I've had these mechanics since I was 12 years old. So.
First episode of 2025, and we're hanging out with Chase Davis. Chase, we want to go through a bunch of stuff with you here today. But first thing, we got to start all the way back at the beginning, man. Growing up in Northern California, what were you like as a kid, dude?
Super playful, super active. A lot of fun. Basketball, soccer, obviously baseball, the whole 9 yards. But spending time with family, getting to travel as a young kid was very big in our family as well. So kind of took advantage of seeing some new places, So it started young, but time flew, and I was able to kind of pick a sport and roll with it. But growing up in Sacramento, very small town in Elk Grove, so got to get to know some good folks and created some good relationships for here.
And as far as like sports are concerned, like obviously like mentioned a couple of them there, but was baseball always kind of like the one that you were the best at, or?
I really did enjoy soccer, though. I love soccer. I do miss it every now and then. PSG is my favorite team. And karting as well. I love karts, go-karts. I love racing and going fast. So I've had a few interests growing up, some hobbies, but baseball was the ultimate choice.
When did you stop playing soccer?
Around 12 years old, so super late. I could have taken it a little farther, but I had to pick one. And I wanted to secure my future with one, and did so.
So there was never any like, this is kind of like gone in waves as far as high school sports are concerned, but there was never like, oh, I'm going to do the 2-sport thing. I'm going to do the 3-sport thing. Cause like there's some schools that still like, not force, but like encourage, I guess is the right word to do that. But they weren't doing that for you.
Not for me. But I do know a few people that had that situation. But for me, I felt like mentally it was going to be a juggle, and along with school as well. So I wanted to be able to focus and kind of put all my eggs in one basket. Even though they tell you not to do that, I believe that if you put your eggs in a few baskets, then you're kind of setting yourself up for to be content if you fail on the first basket. So I had to put all of mine in one, and we're here now.
And when did that kind of come to be for you? When you're playing all these other sports, you're doing all these other things as a kid, was there like a particular moment, or was it gradual where it's like baseball might be the one?
I would say 9 years old. 9 years old is when I wanted to be a big leaguer, and obviously, at that age, it's super young. We don't know much, right? We're just running around, swinging the bat, and kind of playing really any position we're asked to play. But at that age, that's a time where I knew that I would be able to make something kind of special out of baseball, and I don't look back, no regrets, and it was a great decision on my end.
So Franklin High School out in Elk Grove, what was high school ball like for you?
Little hectic every now and then, but fun. More importantly, fun. Got to learn the foundation and take that into college. But the 4 years of high school were awesome. Freshman year all the way through senior year. My head coach, Brian Kilby, shout out Brian if he's watching. But I love those guys back home in Elk Grove. That's my home, and will forever be home. I enjoyed those 4 years at Franklin and got to take it to the desert.
And you put to play with your brother, right?
Sure did. I did for a few games, though. It was senior year, and I remember that day. It was March 7th. It was a Friday, and we just got done playing Granite Bay. And on the bus ride home, we get the news that we have a week off of school. And we were like, oh, like awesome. But we knew COVID was going around, so we were like, all right, let's enjoy the week and see where we go. See what happens from there. And that was the schedule. We didn't know. A week later, fast forward, our season gets banged. So we only play a few games. So I missed out on playing a full season with my brother, but we definitely enjoyed the first few.
Well, I imagine you had some fall ball too, right? You guys play fall ball up there?
Correct.
Yeah.
Sure did.
So at least you had something.
Yeah, we got to make something out of nothing, right? So, we took advantage of that.
How much younger is he than you?
We're 20 months apart. So he's,
okay.
we're 20 months, very, very close in age.
So it was just that senior year that you guys got
Correct.
Okay.
He was at the lower levels kind of as I was growing up, but we were one grade apart the whole time. So we were kind of right there with each other, and then we got the chance to be able to hopefully at the time do something cool, but we just weren't able to.
So I was looking back at some like old news articles and stuff from this era of your life, and saw that like there was multiple times where you were talking to news media or people were writing things about you, like you were going to be right out of high school a top pick. Like, what happened? Like obviously the talent there. I know that COVID happened and everything, but like, what happened in that whole process? Why did you end up going to college instead?
It was an outlook on my future that I felt like would be more beneficial. I think taking 3 years at school would have solidified kind of a better chance for me, kind of going into the draft and pro ball. Experience at the college level is something that you don't get in high school. Learning how to win and learning what it's like to be a part of a team. That was something I learned. So I'm really glad I took the 3 years to go to U of A. Obviously, it was a shorter draft, 5 rounds. At the time in 2020. So, and even people's signing bonuses got deferred for a whole year. So there was a lot of kind of craziness logistically around that time. But for me, I chose to take it upon myself and do 3 years in the desert in Tucson.
So that was your choice then at that point?
That was my choice.
That's such better place to be then at that stage. So, but like you're going through all that and you're leading up to that before we hit COVID and season gets, canceled and we're all going like, what are we doing? What's happening to baseball and stuff? But like, how are you dealing with that pressure at that age? Because it's like a lot of pressure to be that highly thought of at that stage of your life.
It was tough. And I think for me, the hardest part was the expectations, right? The subconscious expectations that not only I felt like were put on me, but that I put on myself. And I expect a lot out of myself on the field. And it was tough. But I think, as a baseball player, it's tough every day. So kind of creating those habits of failure and creating those habits of expectations kind of allowed me to go through it kind of smoothly. So I had my head down and worked hard and proved myself right.
One-0 swinging a high deep drive, hit way back to left, down at the wall, and that ball is long gone.
U of A, man. We got to talk about Tucson. Why did you ultimately pick U of A?
There were other schools at the time that I was looking at, and there were certain things that I was looking for in a school to be able to commit to and take a future with, right, at a university. And Tucson had everything. It has the food, it has the people, the culture. The weather's unbelievable for baseball. And it's just a very, very pretty city. And it felt like home. I first stepped foot on there in October 2018, and it felt like home, and I have no regrets. Obviously, speaking to Jay Johnson at the time, shout out Jay, was the head coach. So he's over there at LSU now, but I created a great relationship with him and ended up committing there, and I had a great time there.
What were the other schools that were trying to pry you away?
Miami, University of Miami. I really wanted to go there. University of Florida, TCU, Tennessee, UCLA. I was talking to Stanford for a little bit too. So some good schools. Really good schools, but I think when it came time to make a decision, I had to kind of reevaluate what meant a lot to me.
I mean, Stanford would have been fairly close to home too.
Mom went there, so it was kind of one of those like, hey, that'd have been really cool. She did Stanford and Cornell, so not really to follow in her footsteps kind of thing, but it would have been cool. But things happen for a reason, and I was excited.
I mean, I know baseball's obviously a small world, but you also would have had a chance to play with Quinn if you had gone to Stanford. You would have had a chance to play with Max and Jack Ralston if you had gone to UCLA. So, I mean, it's all in the family. It's always like kind of that way. Even in high school, you run into the same guys. Let's talk about your junior year, dude. Like an insane year. Obviously, I mean, just a quick Google Chase Davis junior year U of A will pop up a lot of things. What sticks out to you about that season?
A lot of things. I think the coolest part about that year was the camaraderie on our team. Baseball aside, stats, whatever, numbers, whatever, they're important, but I think my junior year will be a year that I will always remember and tell my kids about and smile about when I think about it. We had guys from 1 through 9 in the order that really knew how to play baseball and swing a bat. I will tell you that much. One of the best offenses I've ever been a part of in baseball. Our pitching staff was really, really good as well. So we were able to go to Arkansas also for a regional, and we had a great year. And I think a lot of the travel kind of brought us closer as a team, and being able to play for something, possibly a World Series trophy. So junior year was very fun. Some ups and downs, but it was a big year for a lot of draft guys, not only me, but a lot of other guys on my team as well. So it was a great year.
You were a Golden Spikes semifinal guy. Like, you were in the conversation. Obviously, Dylan Cruz ended up winning it. What do you make of that era, especially when it comes to that Golden Spikes, and you see the list of names historically and even at the time while you're in the conversation for it? Like, do you care about that type of stuff? Is that something that sticks out to you, or where's your head at now that you're a couple years removed?
At the time, it was one of those things that, it would have been cool. It'd be cool if that award came my direction. I understand there's a lot of good players at the time at the level that I was playing at. So it's kind of one of those where you deserve it, right? If you get it, you deserve it. So it would have been cool if I got the reward, but kind of looking back at it, I don't really put a lot of importance on it to answer the question. It didn't really matter a lot to me. I just wanted to be able to. Obviously, winning is number one, but to have a good year offensively and defensively was kind of more important to me than winning an award.
I'm going to throw a date at you. See if you remember. May 26, 2023. Do you remember that day?
I do not. We would have been smack middle of my junior year season.
We were facing Stanford.
Uh-oh.
And you guys,
I remember this.
You guys crushed Quinn Mathews,
day.
who obviously has had an incredible year here last year, and he's poised to make his big league debut soon. You chased him by the second inning, dude. Like, you guys crushed Quinn. Did you guys, now as teammates, ever chat about that?
Honestly, him and I do. Without going into too much detail, we'll talk about some at-bats that we've had against each other. And it's funny that you mentioned earlier about, if I would have went to Stanford, I would have played with him. Well, at U of A, being in the same conference, we actually played against him a lot. So, yeah, not playing with him, but against him. We talk about some at-bats. He's gotten me a couple times. I've gotten him a couple times. But that night was huge. It was kind of one of those tournaments. UCLA was in there as well, kind of a round rock kind of thing. But that was a late inning game, and we had some crazy moments that game.
I know we talked to Quinn about that year, and he's like, I mean, it's a sore spot for him. I mean, it was a tough way to finish that season. Obviously, I think partially the reason why he went back for his senior year too.
Yeah,
was to kind of try and figure it out thereafter. So pretty wild.
High deep drive to left field. Chase Davis is going back to the wall. He leaps at the barrier, and he made the catch.
And the first pitch. Davis swings, hits one off the end of the bat to shallow left. On comes the left fielder. Fedko won't get there.
Let's talk pro ball now, dude. You are in a group of people that obviously, there's a small group every year. There's a group that gets added to, but a small group, a first rounder, ultimately, like, what is that like? I guess, like, the simplest question, what is it like to go through that and actually have your name called in the first round?
Still thinking about it to this day. I can't really put a tag on the feeling that you get. A blessing, number one, I would say. But number two, kind of a pinnacle of work over a great amount of years, ever since I was 5 years old. And then one day, within a matter of 2 hours in the summertime, the MLB draft takes place, and it's my shot, it's my year. And I remember that day, my appetite wasn't super high. It was tough, a lot of nerves, obviously. And when that pick came around, I was on the phone. I was making some phone calls prior, and I kind of had a good idea, but it was very nerve-wracking, and I was super nervous to the stomach. And but once kind of the night passed along, everything kind of felt a little more calm, right? It felt like I belonged there. It felt really rewarding. So to have my family and everyone there was also super, super important, and that meant a lot to me as well. But an unbelievable feeling.
Sure.
Being a first rounder, so it's crazy.
Was there like kind of like a moment of relief then, like when your name was ultimately called, like when St. Louis calls, like, hey, we're about to take you, like, where you, so many nerves, so many emotions going into that, like, where were you? Were you with your family watching, or like, how did you take in that moment?
I was upstairs. We had I had some long-term family friends there, my immediate family as well. And we were upstairs watching on the big TV, and Rob came along and announced the pick with the Cardinals in the first round, and heard my name, and it felt like a weight off my chest, to be honest, to be really, really transparent there. Kind of knowing that all the hard work that I put in was for something, as weird as that sounds, So I think looking back at it, it was an unbelievable feeling. A lot of stress, obviously, like I said, off my shoulders, but head down, and it was kind of more like, hey, ready to work. This is a new chapter. It's going to be work now. I was playing for free in college, right? We were trying to make something out of it in college and high school and before that. But now it's a different chapter, and it's fun. People ask, it's fun, but at the end of the day, we're clocking in and we're going home, and it's work. But it was an unbelievable day. Thank you, Lord.
You've been having this tag on you for so long, since high school into college, and it feels like it keeps coming back, the rounds coming back, your comparisons to Carlos González. Scouts are saying it. It's on every write-up ever. Harold Reynolds talked about it here this past offseason. What do you make of those comparisons?
I like it. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not one of those guys that are gonna be like, oh no, who's that? Or like, what do you mean? Like, no, that's my favorite player. I actually have a personal relationship with him as well, without going into too much detail there. Good dude, good father, husband as well. And one of these days, I'm going to be able to get a chance to swing it with him in his backyard in Orlando. But he's a really, really good guy. And I think these comparisons, you got to call things out when you see them. Do I mimic my stance after him? A little bit. I can't lie. It works. I've had these mechanics since I was 12 years old. So it gets annoying sometimes. I'm not going to lie, it does. But I can't help it, right? It's baseball, and I got to swing the bat. So it's a cool comp, and what a player to be comped to.
I mean, all the way down to the bat drop. It feels like I feel like you're more a bat drop than a flip kind of guy, just because of the nature of that swing. Because that's how Cargo was too, right? Like he just dropped it. So
100%.
I love it. It's a great look. I mean, it blows up online. Like every time it makes the rounds, it's over and over again. So it's great.
Thank you.
What's been the hardest part about the transition to pro ball out of U of A?
Schedule. I think 4 games a week at U of A, one in the midweek on Tuesdays, and then that Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and repeat each week. After being used to that for 3 years straight, and then coming into professional baseball with Tuesday through Sunday and Monday being our only off day, it was kind of a culture shock a little bit at first. Took some time to get used to, but I think the body takes a toll at first to get used to as well. So I think schedule-wise and physically, it was a huge adjustment.
Yeah, I mean, not the only guy that goes through it. I mean, luckily you have that Monday off day now, but even in this league specifically, a lot of times that's now travel days when you got to get to Texas and stuff too. Right. So it's not for the faint of heart, man. It's a lot of time spent at the yard, that's for sure. When you come into the clubhouse, like I know you've been able to do this now a little bit for a little while now, but when you come into the clubhouse and you walk in, you see your locker and you see your jersey, like that's an experience that such a few amount of people get to actually live. Does that still shock you? Like, do you ever catch yourself sometimes where you walk in and you see your name on a jersey and you're like, oh my gosh, like this is still real?
Every day on our locker, see the name tag, not only the jersey, but above our locker where our hats rest, seeing the name, it's a weird feeling. It really is. I mean, I got to be honest. It's kind of crazy knowing that for a living and being able to put food on your own table and your family's table, you're playing a game that you grew up playing, and it's a game that you love, and that goes along with it. Walking into the locker room, seeing all these young gentlemen in there and teammates with you, they're experiencing the same thing. We're all experiencing the same thing, but things come with that. Things come with that. We have to carry ourselves differently. We can't say things that we would usually want to say as quote unquote anyone else would potentially say. It's tough. We're kind of magnified. Things that we say and do are magnified more often. So yeah, there's the glitz and glamour, but then on the trade-off, it's some kind of tough regulations. So it's an unbelievable feeling every day to walk into the locker room and see kind of the team we're playing for on the front of our jerseys, and it's undescribable.
Like I mentioned, a couple of years into it now, man, and it's starting to become a little real now. Like you mentioned, it's real in Palm Beach and everything, but you're getting here, you're maybe even just one call away. With that, after a couple springs and everything, what do the Cardinals have you focusing on development-wise right now?
Instead of it, I wouldn't call it really more of kind of the organizational thing. Kind of more personally, I'm more focusing on plate discipline, staying in the zone, swinging at strikes, and putting the ball in play. Everything else is going to take care of itself on the field, as you know. So kind of we don't really have a whole goal individually from the team. Those are kind of side conversations in between closed doors that we have. But for the most part, as a hitter, we kind of go in there with our own focus and things that we want to accomplish that day.
Driven into deep left center field. It's a long run for Davis, and he makes the catch as he runs into the wall. My goodness, what a play out there by Davis.
1-0 pitch. Swung on, driven toward the gap in left center field. That's going to be up the alley, and it's going to roll to the wall. Linares on his way to third base. He'll be held there as Davis cruises into second with a double.
All right, Chase. We do this on every single one of these episodes, and like I said, this is the first of the year, so we gotta get the dust off and do this. So we do the Cardinals Quickfire.
Okay.
In the Cardinals Quickfire, we just throw a bunch of questions at you, and they have nothing to do with each other, and we just roll through it. So
let's roll.
Let's go ahead and get that first one out of the year.
I hit one of the balls over. No
my
way.
Gosh. Who did you knock over?
Who did I knock over? I knocked over. Let's see, Matt Lloyd.
Matt Lloyd.
I gotta apologize to Matt.
Our
I have to
last
send an
guest
apology
of
to Matt.
2025 or 2024.
Shout out Lloydie, man.
Yeah, and I
Great
think you
dude.
might have knocked Churchy over there too. We're all good. That's getting us started real quick. Okay, let's go quick fire here, man.
Let's go.
Okay, I know you deleted your IG and your Twitter.
Yeah.
Do you still have a burner account somewhere?
I did for a little bit. To keep up with some public accounts. That's all I'm saying.
Oh my gosh.
I did. But not anymore. I had to get off. Social media for other reasons. But yeah, burner accounts are definitely prevalent, but not on my phone.
Nice, I love it. Do you miss it at all?
I do. Instagram was huge for me. Obviously, car videos was kind of my last post. I remember I didn't post often on Instagram. I wasn't big on social media, and that was part of the reason why I got off of it. A lot of consumption of things that probably weren't best to see every day. So those reasons combined were kind of the reasons I got off. But yes, I think Twitter is a huge burner account platform as far as CNN and public news. I like to follow that kind of stuff with our presidential stuff, and that's a whole other topic. But yeah, I pay attention every now and then.
Nice.
Yeah.
What is the hottest temperature you've ever played baseball in, especially in Tucson?
Good question. I would say middle summer, one of my freshman year. You know what? We played Ole Miss in a super regional my freshman year, and I remember I think it was 107, 108. First pitch at 6 o'clock with the sun coming down. And I still think about those games at U of A. Beautiful, beautiful sunsets, and the fans. It just added into it. But it was a hot, hot weekend that weekend. Sure was.
Dad, uncles, mom, collegiate athletes. Are you the best athlete in the family?
Yes.
Nice and simple. I love that. Okay, I got a real in-the-weeds one for you.
What you got?
Okay. While at U of A, did you ever go to the buffet bar and partake in the Happy Minute, or did you get a jumbo Coors and a shot on your 21st birthday there?
Second option. Jumbo Coors and a shot.
I love it.
21st.
That's like one of the spots, right?
Yeah, it is. There's a few spots. There's actually a lot of spots in Tucson that people don't know for hole in the walls for food, but also just kind of areas you could relax with friends and family and bars. And if you can discover those, it adds to the experience as well.
Yeah, it's a sweet spot.
Yeah.
Do you have any phobias?
Yeah. I don't like, I've said this before, cockroaches. I don't understand. I just don't know why they're here. I don't know their presence. I just don't really see a spot for them. So I will forever take it to the grave. Cockroaches.
Cockroaches.
Don't like them.
I mean, I hope you're not seeing them often, right? Like,
when I first moved into my house in Florida, being in that climate and that weather, a little bit here and there, but knowing me, I did something about that real quick.
What is a misconception about being a first rounder?
That we're cocky. You don't know. Get to know somebody. Get to know somebody before you say something.
Who is the greatest baseball player of all time?
Oh wow, I don't know why it's such a funny question. That's a hard question. I would say personally, I think Barry Bonds is the best baseball player of all time. Wow. And that can get controversial, but everything aside, I truly will stand on that. Yeah. Unbelievable hitter. I
mean, it's a guy that you were fairly close to growing up, semi nearby, and
hour and a half away in the Bay.
Yeah, that's not far, man.
Yeah.
What's the in-and-out order?
Double, no lettuce, spread, onions, and pepperoncinis.
Fries, no fries?
No fries with the strawberry shake. Fun thing about In-N-Out, some people don't know, they have a secret menu, and I get an extra large shake. You can order an extra large size shake and then from In-N-Out. People don't even know that.
What do they give you, like a different cup, or they got like 2 cups?
It is gigantic. Think of a large and almost 1.5 it.
Oh my God, yeah. That's like wow, actually.
It holds me for the whole night. Good little.
I feel
like
the In-N-Out secret menu is like the most terribly kept secret. It's like everyone knows what it is. I didn't know that one.
Yeah, everyone knows, but some people don't, and you got to know. You got to know what you're getting into.
Okay, and this is the last one, dude. Quickfire. This is one we ask every single person.
Awesome.
One pitcher, alive or dead, you want to face. A 1v1. You have one chance to show them your best stuff.
I want to face Aroldis Chapman in Cincinnati. when he first made his debut. When he came 106 up and in to McCutcheon. And I want to face him through that kind of week. What he was looking like, I just want to see, obviously, left on left. I don't know what kind of at bat it would look like, but I would love to see that speed from him being an icon as he is. That'd be an awesome at bat, a fun one.
So you just gotta in an at bat like that, you sit fastball, right? There's nothing else you can sit, right?
Keyhole fastball, and if you want to sit on his 93 mile per hour slider, you're pretty much hitting one speed hitting. And as a hitter, that's kind of fun to do. So that's kind of why I bring up Aroldis, is because not only will I be able to see the velo from the left side, but it'd be a fun at bat. I think he's going to be in the zone, and like I said, one speed hitting. So that'd have been a fun one.
I mean, dude's still bringing it. So it's
Yeah.
not Cincinnati Aroldis, but it's not Cincinnati.
He will forever bring it. He will forever bring it. He's an outstanding pitcher, Aroldis is.
Maybe we'll see it one day.
One day, we'll see.
Chase Davis, thanks for joining us, man.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.